Welcome to Inside the Game, the show that talks about everything cool in video games. I'm one of your hosts, Drew Bosley. Coming up on today's show, I visit 2 different planets with Broken Age. From there, I talk to the developers from Uppercut Games about their latest game, Submerged. After that, Chris and I travel through the beautiful world of Trine 3. And to end things off, Chris and I end up a little confused with Nero. But first, here is Chris with the Inside Scoop.
Hi, I'm Chris Forger, and tonight on the Inside Scoop, we're going with Uncharted's new collection. It's going to include the first 3 games, getting you ready for the 4th one. It's available on PlayStation 4, October 9th this year. If you pre-order the digital download via PlayStation Store, you will get the Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection PS4 dynamic theme as an immediate download. And one more thing to add to that, if you buy the Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection, it will grant you exclusive access to the Uncharted 4 A Thief's End multiplayer beta version. That'll be one to look for. Next, we're talking The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It has just reached 4 million copies sold. Now, this comes with Marcin Iwinski's thank you, the co-founder of CD Projekt Red. He says, I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the 4 million gamers worldwide who bought The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt in the first 2 weeks from launch. 4 million RPG fans spent their hard-earned money on this game is a sign that we did something right. And you can be sure that we'll harness all the positive energy and make the upcoming expansions worthy of the grand adventure that you're telling us Wild Hunt already is. In other news from The Witcher, if you play the Gwent card game, you can get better by watching the tutorial on our website for nextlevelgamers.com. It is done by the developers so they can walk you through it.
So Epic's released a new trailer for Fortnite, the action building game that allows you to build your forts and fend off zombies. It's also coming to Mac as well as PC. When it's coming, fingers crossed for soon. Alright, Mirror's Edge fans, we all know DICE has been working on Mirror's Edge 2. Now with more news from their Twitter account, we found out that Mirror's Edge 2 is called Mirror's Edge Catalyst. They plan to show much more on the EA press conference this weekend. Well, summer is upon us, which hopefully allows us to get caught up on a few things we might have missed over the winter. As Christmas comes, Chris, we get absolutely bombarded with video games, right? Everybody wants to publish their games just in time for the holidays. Holidays are over, man. We're going inside, we're going outside. Now summer's here, we should be outside, but really my backlog of games is going to keep me inside over the summer. What do you have on your backlog for games?
Well, right now I still have to complete a couple of Assassin's Creeds. I have,
that's going to keep you busy.
Life is Strange still has episodes coming out.
Yeah.
Drunk at a Vortex Club party? Oh yeah! We just need to connect the players. And find out more about who Rachel was involved with around here.
And you're talking about Telltale having a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah, you know what? I still have episode 5 from The Wolf Among Us to complete, which is sad on my part. It's just unfortunate. I got nailed with something else to do. But I'm jumping back into that. I've got the Borderlands from Telltale to catch up. I got Game of Thrones to catch up on. I'm like, my pile is just getting like this.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider, which is coming, which has just been leaked for September. For the Rise of the Tomb Raider. So that means, you know what I gotta do is I gotta go back and I gotta finish the other Tomb Raider so that my story completes and I'm back in, right? So that way I'm caught up.
Yeah, that's the only way to go. Same issue with, like I said, Assassin's Creed. I haven't finished the first 3, let alone getting into the next one coming.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. How much time do you take?
Yeah.
Right? And you and I were talking earlier. We were talking about The Witcher 3.
Yeah. Hours. You're hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
And you can complete the game, and then there's still more. Like you have the side quests, and then you have, the game inside the game, the card game.
Yeah, the Gwent card game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how much time do you focus, right? And I got Shadows of Mordor I still want to play. My brother keeps nailing me. You got to play this. You got to play this. And I'm like, I'm trying, man, but I can't get there. And then, of course, one of my favorite games of all time has been GTA 5.
Yeah.
Completed that, but I have not done the heists. So now we go from single player content to online multiplayer. And you know what happens when you're playing GTA is that you start in one direction, but you never go that way because you suddenly go over this way.
That's right.
First thing's a plane. Then we got a bus. We got the inmate transfer schedule, and that's a 2-person job.
You sure they're not following you?
It's gonna require a little bit of finesse. Simple. Should be the easiest money you'll ever make.
And with all the DLC for the online gameplay, and they're coming out with more single player DLC as well.
Which I have to get.
New missions.
I want to get back into some Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the fighting in Mortal Kombat is so good, and the fatalities and brutalities. It's like, I just want my hands on it.
And all the DLC that keeps coming out for these games. They don't just finish a game after they produce it. They come out with DLC after DLC, and it keeps adding up.
Well, yeah, and then when you talk about DLC, let's talk about The Witcher 3 because we're getting free DLC.
Yes, that's amazing if you can get to it. Now again, that's 23, 19 hours after you complete the 190 hours in the game.
Yeah, 2 single player components are coming to The Witcher 3, but you're going to total somewhere in around 30 hours.
Yeah.
That's a little nerve-wracking too. It's just my summer isn't very big, right? I'm probably somewhere around here, and I've got things to do, but holy, and then you got Batman that's coming out, and I'm like, well, there goes some more time.
You will bring death to all who follow you.
Sorry, can't get to the yard. Gotta play Batman.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'd love to know your thoughts and what your backlog is, so head over to our website at 4nextlevelgamers.com and let us know. Welcome to a different Crossfire episode. Now, you may be asking, where's Chris? But unfortunately, I'm going solo today because I'm playing something on my Vita. I've been playing Broken Age from Double Fine. Now, we're playing as 2 separate characters here. We're playing as Villa and we're playing as Shay. Now, as Villa goes on her adventure, she's meant to sacrifice herself for her village. Now, unfortunately, Villa has a different approach on things and doesn't think sacrificing herself is the smartest thing to do. And this is where your adventure really starts to take off. It had actually a bit of a slow start. Something that took me a while to get into the game. And once you start to appreciate all the quirky characters and the sense of humor that Tim Schafer and Double Fine brings to the game, you get a better feeling of what you're really supposed to do. It's back to that old time where you're mixing and you're pointing and clicking, and you're mixing the objects that you gather up to achieve for the next puzzle. Now, on the other side of things, you play as Shay. This is a guy who's up in space, a different part of the world, a different part of the universe, and he's bored. And I mean really bored, to the point where I was bored. Now, once you get past all that, which didn't take too long, you start to feel for Shay, and you get the sense of his adventure. He wants to do something big. He wants to be great, and you start to get that feeling. Now, as long as it took you to kind of get into the game, I actually started to appreciate what they're doing and enjoy the characters. It took me a while, but I really do appreciate and love these characters now. Now that we're in, these characters are going to start to mingle, and I'm actually really loving where they're heading for this. Now, the art style, too, is definitely a different take on what we're used to as well. Double Fine is taking this more of a pastel kind of feel, and this may not be for everybody. And it took me a little bit to adjust to as well. You're kind of used to Grim Fandango or even Full Throttle when you go way, way back. But as you start to fall in love with these characters and the bright openness of Bella's world and then the deep, dark space as Shay's world, you get a better feeling of why these worlds are so separate. And just as they start to mingle and the puzzles start to make sense, you're going to really enjoy this game. I would definitely give this a chance. I'm giving Double Fine's Broken Age a 7.5. Okay, so today I have with me Ed Orman from Uppercut Games talking about a pretty cool game. Ed, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey man, no worries.
Now, the reason why I brought you on is because you and your team have developed something I find is very unique and different than what we're used to within the video game industry. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Submerged?
So Submerged is an exploration game at its heart. And it's something where we've strived to make something really serene and relaxing for the player. So there's no failure states in the game. There's no way that you can get really lost. It's really about trying to keep you in the moment in the game, trying to build a world that you want to actually hang around in and relax in. So yeah, that's really different for us. You know, we come from a background of first-person shooters, and our first mobile game was like an action combat game. But yeah, Submerged is just a very different take for us.
Now, it is an exploration is kind of what you touched on a little bit. What's the story with Submerged?
It's one of the things I really like about it is that there's two main mysteries that we present you with at the beginning of the game, and those unfold at your pace because it's exploration. You're moving through this world and exploring and finding things, and as you do that, we reveal little snippets of the story. So we start out with the two kids, Miku and Taku, arriving in this submerged city in their boat, and that's kind of the first mystery is, you know, how do these guys get here? And she has a goal of trying to heal her brother who's injured, and in doing so, every time you do heal him in some part, you'll get a little piece of their backstory. And as well as that, scattered all around the city, and this helps support the exploration, there are these secret objects that she can find which reveal a part of the mystery of what happened to the city itself. You know, what happened to this world to bring it to this state where you've got all of these buildings just sticking up out of the water. So that's the basics of what's going on in the background. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about what actually happened. Yeah.
Now, where did the idea come from? Where did that stem from of having this environment, this whole city submerged underwater, lost to nature per se?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you know, we've always been big fans of post-apocalyptic settings. You know, our first game on mobile was a post-apocalyptic game, and my first real game as a developer on PC was Fallout Tactics. So I have that background, but we were thinking about different ideas for games that we would like to do, and I saw a video of a mod that somebody had made for GTA.
Okay.
And in that mod, it's out of nowhere. They'd raised the sea levels up, and it just caused chaos, total chaos in the city. But in the distance, you could see this city sticking up out of the water, and I had it paused, and I was like, you know, that's actually a really interesting image. You know, I don't think I've seen that setting before. And then we had this extra image on top of that with just this little girl on a boat traveling through the city. So that was it. Everything else that came afterwards is stuff that we've sort of built upon that idea, but that was the very core idea.
That's very cool. How big is the environment we're going to be traversing through?
It's that's a really good question. I think it's a square kilometer on a side of city, but that doesn't really help you because, I mean, it sort of tells you just overall how large the place is, but of course there's a lot of verticality in the game as well because you're climbing. But it gives you sort of a rough idea. It's like a square kilometer of central business district in any major city.
Now, you mentioned it's going to be coming for consoles. Is it coming to PC as well?
Yeah, PC, Steam, possibly other stores too, but right now the idea is to launch on PC with Steam, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and iOS when we get around to that. But it should actually all be simultaneous.
Okay, now let's talk about this. If you're developing for such a beautiful landscape and such, and you're able to achieve that with the PC, obviously, and then with the Xbox One and the PS4, how do you transition all of that world development and such onto something like a smaller platform, such as the iOS?
Mm-hmm. It's it's a dual challenge. There's a technical challenge, obviously.
Yeah, I would say so.
to look as good as it can, to perform as well as you want it to. But there's also the design challenge of like reinventing the controls for iOS. And we've already got our first version of that done, but there's still, I think, a bunch of work left to do there to just make it super smooth on iOS, which has always been our goal. Is like make sure it works the best for each platform. So yeah, it's a lot of work. We're lucky that we're using Unreal 4, which fairly well transitions between all of those platforms for us. So that's actually it's much more of a sort of technical and content challenge, which the other guys have to deal with a lot more than I do. I'm mostly doing control stuff.
Ed, thank you very much for joining us. Is there anything you'd like to touch on before we go?
No, thanks, man. It's great to talk, and we're always happy to talk. And like I said, we're coming soon. Just hang in there for the actual release date.
That's great. Looking forward to it.
Now in First Impressions, we're going to talk Trine 3 from Frozen Byte Studios. You follow Pontius, Zanya, and Amadeus, the three characters, again, on another adventure.
Yeah, they're back once again, which is fantastic because these are the characters that started off in the Trine. Now they're ending the Trine. These are wonderful characters, like memorable characters. So to bring them back is only doing the game justice. Now this is Steam's early access, so we're only getting access to the first 2 levels of the game and 2 challenge modes, and they are updating too as they go when they get feedback. Now, what are you thinking of the gameplay so far? Because they've changed it up since Trine 2.
Yeah, I love it. I love the aspect of it, the third dimension that they add to it.
It's awesome.
It's great. The 3 characters are memorable. They're great characters. You get to pick which one you get to, like, as you go through the levels, you start to pick which character you need to finish a challenge. And it's great. Some characters you need the brute, the other challenges you need the magician, and of course Zanya.
Zanya is cool. She's my favorite character. She's always been my favorite character, but she's also almost the weakest character?
I wouldn't find her the weakest. I think that the wizard is the weakest. Amadeus. He seems to lack a lot with, but he gets to move objects just with his magic. That's pretty cool too.
I still like her. It's the assassin, right? It's that assassin. I can't help it. I like that stealth aspect, and that's what she brings to the table.
She does. Yep.
But it's also who is required to finish the challenge, right?
That's
that
it.
Puzzle.
Yeah, and with the end challenge, you have to use almost all 3 of them.
Yeah, it's very cool. And now that they've added the third dimension, it opens up the gameplay much more than the previous 2D side-scrolling games, right?
Yeah.
So not only now are you allowed to travel 2D, but you have to go into the distance, into that back vision of the field there, and it opens up so much more, and there's just a lot more to do, and it is gorgeous.
It is. It's a wonderful land. They've done a great job with it, and I'm really enjoying the character development with it too. You have this adventure that you're going out to do, and each character has its own mission, but also they follow a certain pattern as well.
Yeah, they're funny characters.
They are. Yeah.
Right. The writing's excellent, and the game is early access. I'm like, okay, you know what? I've played so much of it now, and just like, forget it. When's the game come out? That's what I want. But you know what I want? Is I want a controller setting.
Yeah, I found that with the keyboard, the buttons were a little awkward. I'm sure you can set it up. I haven't done that, but I was able to get through most of it just with the keys that they give you.
I found it a little difficult now that they've added that third dimension. When it was 2D, it was a lot easier to kind of go through and finish your objectives. But now that they've added that 3D element, I really want my analog sticks and the buttons to work with this one.
Yeah, and it was on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So you had your controller before. Now it's on Steam on the early access.
Right.
You have your keyboard. It's on the PC. You have to use what they give you.
Yeah, for now, I'd like to see that implemented, hopefully in a patch.
Yeah.
And then I almost guarantee it's coming to console. At some point, it will be coming to console. They have to put it on console, and that's what I want to play it on, is my console. So final thoughts on Trine 3 from Frozen Byte?
I loved it. I think that the graphics in it have greatly improved.
Yep.
The characters are wonderful to play with. I love playing with even all three of them. You know, it's great and fun.
Yeah.
And it's something that I enjoy playing over and over again.
You're going to recommend it?
Oh, definitely, I'd recommend it. I think it's for everyone out there. You know, there's such a big demographic that it reaches. I think everyone would love to play it.
Yeah, I think you can't go wrong. You basically stole the words right out of my mouth. They got great characters, a beautiful world, and this new 3D element you can't go wrong with. I'd absolutely recommend this for anybody.
Tonight on Crossfire, we're talking about Storm in a Teacup's Nero, a game that's supposed to be, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good question. What is this thing? I really don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a puzzle game, I guess, and it has a story to it, and it has a beautiful background.
Well, yeah, they're stunning.
Sure. But it doesn't mesh.
Well, it's odd. Like, I don't understand. I don't even know if I call it a game.
Yeah, there's game elements into it.
Sure.
You know, you have your little Easter eggs that you have to find throughout the thing, and there's puzzles that you have to solve, and there is some sort of, story line to it. But I just don't see the gelling.
I think what the premise of the game is that you're this little character, and as you wander through the environment, a storyboard is kind of written up on the walls or the surroundings in this like sparkly kind of glowing text.
Yeah.
But there's two stories here. One of the village that you're traveling through, which is kind of boring. And then what really kind of kept me going with the game is the other aspect and the other story, and it's of the family, of this family that's in the game.
That's right.
And that's what pushed me forward to find out more, because the more you wander through and solve these little puzzles, the more the story unfolds, which is kind of that game aspect, right?
It is. Now, the puzzle aspect of it, though, I didn't find it very tough. Like, they were fairly easy. I don't know what kind of demographic they were pushing for here, but it's obviously made for maybe a younger crowd, but it has some rough aspects to it that's made for like an adult generation.
Well, you're almost like a wizard too, right? Or
yeah.
I don't know what you call yourself.
Well, it's a mystery in itself. You don't know what you are when you're playing the game. I think that it's one of those things that they're going to reveal as you play, probably near the end, I would think.
I would hope so, because I want to know. It's funny, as weird and as different as the game is, I want to know how it ends. I want to know how that story of the family ends. I could care less about what the village is.
Yeah, the village doesn't really appeal to me, but there is a beautiful aspect to this game. Stunning cinematics in it, and it pushes you to see what's around the corner.
It does. It keeps you going, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Now it is slow.
Slow?
The walking aspect is super slow, and then you have a run button, and it is slow. Like, run is what I usually play at a walk in a game.
Well, I was going to say that, right? The walking pace is like a crawl,
yeah.
And the running pace is like a walk.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I just like run? I just want to run because this is boring.
Yeah, it's like they're forcing you to see your surrounding and to look at all the beautiful landscapes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they did it on purpose. They really kept you back, right?
Yeah.
They didn't want you to rush through this experience, which I can understand and appreciate. But sometimes I just want to kind of hightail it.
Now, it makes me wonder how big this game is. If they're slowing you down, maybe the game isn't really that big.
I can't see it being that big.
It just feels like it because you're at such a slow pace that you have to wander through this big forest of glowing lights and the village itself, and then you have to fix these puzzles, and it just keeps going, it seems like.
Well, yeah, it's so long and drawn out. I'm like, this thing should be done by now, and then there's this guy that suddenly just joins us.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are you and why are you following me?
Yeah,
and I
and-
just send him over that way. You just go that way, leave me alone, and I'll handle this. But he's there to help you as a co-op experience in some of the puzzles.
Yeah, you have to tell him where to go and what to do in certain aspects so you can finish the puzzles to move on. And again, he even drags his butt.
He does.
You know, you don't know where, what am I going to do with this guy? And then you're waiting for him to catch up or to go where you point. It's rough.
Yeah, this isn't the greatest game, but let's be honest, right? This isn't perfect.
No.
But it's got a story that's kind of kept me going.
It's the only thing that I can rely on is this, kind of intriguing story that they are pushing.
Yeah, but let's get back to the environments because I want to touch on the world that they've created because it is very unique. It
is
special. Yeah. It is special, and the way they did the illuminations with the colors and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think they've really created something here that's just lacking in a final vision.
Well, it's very dark except for these illuminations, and even around the illuminations they have this haze. I think that adds to almost a neon look to it. Now, without that, I don't know if they'd have much of a game. It would be tough to see it in just regular light.
It isn't much of a game, though.
No, I'm really trying here, but I can't push this game.
Yeah. So what's your final thoughts? What do you give a score this one?
Oh, it's gonna score a 4.
You're that low, are you?
It is. But I am gonna keep playing it.
Well, yeah, that's story. There is a story that's the family story that's keeping me going.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close with you. I'm giving this one a 5. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Inside the Game. Thank you very much for watching. Now, don't forget to follow us over on Twitter at 4nextlevelgamers. Chris, where can we follow you?
At Man of Reaction.
Now, before you leave, head to our website at 4nextlevelgamers.com. There, hit the gaming highlight button. Each and every week, we feature one of you, the friends, the fans, our viewers, with a little special moment that you've created. Chris, who do we feature in this week?
This week, we have Get No Scope playing State of Decay.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Where were we?
Then the power died. No one ever sounded the all clear.